Hey guys, I'm Andrew White from New Zealand, standing in front of some of my paintings that I like to do. You can check them out on YouTube. Just look for Andrew White Paintings, W-H-Y-T-E, or the White Art channel on YouTube. One thing I like to do is get some action cam footage, which is when I'm on the road, of my friends and myself, and yeah, it's a lot of fun, and a lot of people are getting into this right now. There's three different types of devices on the market. There's the Sony action cams, there's the Contour action cam, and the HD GoPro cameras. They're all HD, by the way, but the one that I particularly like is this one here. It's Contour. I like it because it's streamlined and it comes packaged in a tough aluminium tube, and it has a really nice big button on the top, which when I'm in my gloves I can turn it on and off. How do I calibrate this on my helmet to get the best shots? Now that's what this is all about today. We're going to mount this on the helmet, and I'm going to show you how to go about it, and then I'll take you for a black down rocky cutting road, which is not far from where I live, with the action cam all set up. Let's do it. Right, I've got my action cam mounted onto my HJC full face motorcycle helmet. I prefer a full face helmet myself. I did have it mounted onto a flip face helmet there for a while, but I've since relocated the device and moved it onto here. I'll show you how I did that. So there's the camera mounted nice and sturdily with its clamp right on the top there. Let's take a closer look at what holds the action cam onto the lid of your head. This thing here is a surfboard mount. Now I prefer this mount rather than the helmet mount because it seems more sturdier. It's got a lot more adhesive, and it's got these star shapes that I kind of think helps to hold it on when it's, well, when you're blatting down the road, obviously. So it sticks like the proverbial to a blanket, and honestly I don't think I've ever had any trouble with it even looking like it's going to come off. In fact, this one's been relocated. I just actually used some new adhesive pads which Contour makes for relocating these surfboard mounts. Now this one is black, as you've probably noticed. I actually spray painted the top of it and masked up the bottom while I did it, so that I got no paint actually on the base of it where the adhesive tape is going to go, just so that it doesn't look like a big horrible white sticking plaster on the top of your helmet. But anyway, let's have a look at how this particular device mounts onto there. If I can just hold this up in front of the camera, this is the plastic bracket that goes onto the actual top of the mount, and the action cam sort of flops around on top of it. Not when it's clamped down though, because it becomes nice and sturdy. I'll show you how that mounts onto there. It simply slides onto the device like so. And I prefer to face it that way, so that because that's the switch that turns the camera on and off. I prefer to use my left hand, so I reach up from my bars and I can switch it on and off. The great thing about these cameras is that you can actually hear the big beep through your helmet. You know that it's actually on. Now that's a cool thing. What it does is it simply goes over the top of this little thing here, and it clamps down onto it. Now these marks I put on here myself when I've calibrated my helmet, and I'll talk about that in just a moment. So let's clamp it onto my helmet. As you can see, that's really tight. I give a bit of a check looking down on it to make sure that it's pointing straight. You might be wondering what this little mark is. Well, the beautiful thing about the Contour cams is that you can actually rotate that around to get a level. Now that's a really good thing. So I'll make sure that that's pointing to the top, because that means your camera is going to be nice. Your footage that you're going to get is going to be nice and straight. So it's mounted on there. It's straight. That's at the top. It's on the forward setting that I've recently calibrated. It takes a little bit of getting out on the road and getting those settings right, because whichever way you mount your helmet cam, it's going to be different for everybody, obviously, because it depends on what motorcycle you're riding as to how you calibrate this. If you're on a cruiser, it might be pointing up a little bit. If you're on a sports bike, well, obviously you adjust it to suit. It's actually trial and error. You can buy these cameras with a Wi-Fi setting that goes to your phone, and that can tell you exactly what it's pointed at. That would be useful. They're much more expensive. I think they're about $300 dearer. So I prefer to just use the basic one, nice and cheap model, and just calibrate it up and make sure that it's got the right thing. Then I don't have to muck around looking at my phone every time I want to do it. Because you know what it's like when you're on the road, you're throwing all your gear on, and the last thing you want to be doing is mucking around with the camera if you can help it. So if you get it nice and quick and simple, you'll get that footage without any problems whatsoever. So there you go. There's my Contour action cam mounted on my helmet. I can simply reach up and turn it on and off as I'm riding down the road. Let's take you for a black down rocky cutting road, which is not far from where I live, and show you exactly what these things can do. They're a lot of fun. Here we go!